What's up, guys, and welcome back. My name's Joe Jack HD. This is Aaron, and we're bringing out another football predictions video today for the first steps of the season. Today we're talking about EFL Championship 2023-2024. Arguably going to be one of the hardest championship seasons we've seen in probably the last decade. Some of the teams that have come up from League One, some of the teams that have come down from the Premier League. Competition is everywhere. You know what I go by. I always say the Championship is the hardest league in the world. You never know where you're going to end. You could win the league, you could get relegated the next season. So it's vice versa. You could be top three or you could be bottom three. No one knows where you're going to finish. No matter how many you sign, how many people you come in, how many people you sell to build up that revenue, whether the fans are behind you or not. And arguably, the EFL have some of the best fans in the world. It's the core of English football. It's the centre. You've got League One below it, you've got the Prem above it, and then you've got that slap bang, that massive league in between, full of talent, full of great teams. You can't really say anyone in the Championship is a crap team.
No,
it's competitive, and that's the only reason it makes it so detailed. So let's kick off things with talking about the three sides that have come down from the Premier League today into the Championship. So
we've got Premier League winners Leicester City joining the league this year. Southampton, who, despite a few 9-0 slap-ins a few times, are a very solid side, very solid players in their team, and the very creative, very fun to watch Leeds United's joining the league. The three very tough, hard to beat teams that are going to make this league very exciting this year.
So we'll break that down a little bit. Leicester City, they've come down, as you stated a minute ago. They've come down after winning the Premier League.
Yeah.
What do you think went wrong there? What went wrong in your eyes for that club?
They obviously didn't invest enough in the right players or the right background, training staff and facilities for the team, and the mentality's just dropped off.
Just no core. There's no system behind the actual effort. And all consolidation to them, they were bloody amazing that season. No one ever thought they'd win the Premier League.
Definitely.
And they went and shocked everyone. Leeds, on the other hand, coming down, brand new manager, former Norwich City manager Daniel Farke, went over for a season in the German Bundesliga, didn't work out for him. The position come up in Leeds and he took it just like that. Opinions on Leeds. How do you think Daniel Farke's going to adapt to Leeds this season?
Well, Leeds were known in the Premier League as a side that will score a lot of goals but concede a lot of goals, so they were known as fun to watch. You know more about Daniel Farke than I do, but that's not going to be the case this season, I don't think. But they're still going to be a tough team to play against.
Oh, definitely. When we go over to the computer to do the predictions, Leeds are arguably going to be up there. I have a bit of a mixed opinion. Obviously, as you said, I know a little bit more about Daniel Farke, obviously going to a lot of Norwich games, knowing his background before Norwich and everything, all the research I've done behind him. He's a great manager. I don't think he had the support behind him at Norwich. Obviously, there's a lot of arguments within the board and management and ownership between Norwich. A lot has changed at Norwich since Daniel Farke's departure. Obviously, we've got David Wagner come in, former Huddersfield manager. He did well for Huddersfield. He brought them up, won the league with them.
Huddersfield got a good reputation in the Premier League.
Went over to Europe. He did fairly well over there. He was loved by fans all around Europe. Not the biggest known manager ever, but he was definitely up there. And there has been a change in motivation. Obviously, he came in halfway through last season for Norwich, so we couldn't judge him as much. And the start of this season, I think it's going to be really good for him. I think now he's going to be given that opportunity, and I think the board at Norwich will give him the full season to see how we do. It's a second consecutive run in the Championship now. Obviously, since we last got relegated from the Prem, we did appalling last season. Obviously, manager got ousted. We're not going to even bring up the name of the manager who we had come in because he was absolutely awful. The last two seasons, though, Norwich fans have dropped. They haven't been behind the managers. David Wagner's got a really good atmosphere coming back into Carrow Road, so hopefully we go on to that. Before we get carried off, though, let's talk about Southampton, a team that arguably I don't believe should be in the Championship.
They were a very solid mid-table Premier League side for quite a few years. They got some brilliant players such as the departing James Ward-Prowse.
That's going to be a tough subject for any Saints fans watching this today. Obviously, I was speaking to someone you guys will know as Paris Gaiman, who is a big Saints fan, and arguably, I think every single Saints fan will be gutted with the news that came in yesterday of James Ward-Prowse departing a club that he has been the core of, arguably, for the last God knows however many years. But he's going on to bigger pastures, new grass, and all the best to him.
Definitely.
But even with that departure and that injury to the squad, I think Saints are going to be up there. They're a very good squad. They're Premier League material. They shouldn't be down here. And I feel like I'm complimenting them too much, but it doesn't make sense. I'm more used to seeing Leeds down in the Championship.
Yeah.
But Leicester and Southampton, they shouldn't be.
No.
They shouldn't be. You've got a former Premier League champions team. You've got Southampton, who have been very good at football over the years.
Yeah.
They're building, obviously, new management, new training staff, new players coming in. They've just won their game.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. At the time of this, we are recording this in between match week 1 and match week 2. So the second week of fixtures is coming up in 2 days' time. So juggling a bit of results as well as fixtures. So just bear with us. Let's move on to something that is very big in my heart. Not as big as it used to be, but we've been many years without it. That's the East Anglian derby. Blue versus yellow.
Biggest derbies there is on the list of derbies.
It's a phenomenal fixture, and obviously I feel like I just said, I haven't got a massive passion for that fixture at the moment because it's been so many years without it. You're always going to have Ipswich versus Norwich fans battling it out, bickering on social media, no matter whether you're in the same league or not. But I hope it reignites. They're playing the day before my birthday at Portman Road, away to Ipswich. So I think it's going to be a very good Christmas fixture. 16th, believe, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, 16th of December. So I'm looking forward to that really, really badly, and I'm going to try my best to get in attendance for that in the away stand, in the away part of Portman Road. The last time I went to Portman Road was Norwich versus Ipswich. But recent years it's been tough. It's been a tough fixture. Norwich haven't dominated the fixture at all. It's been 1-1s or 1-0s. It's not been like the old-fashioned 5-0 or 4-1 or something like that. So, and arguably, Kieran McKenna, former Manchester United star, coach, manager of Ipswich Town now. Great guy, really great guy. No one really thought of him being a manager, especially a team that's come up from League One into the Championship. So, and he's done very well to rebuild the squad.
101 goals in League One last season for Ipswich.
Phenomenal, and how they didn't finish top, I don't know.
No.
But that brings us on to Plymouth. Plymouth Argyle, the team that really, really stunned, and they shined really brightly in League One. Obviously, they had young player of the season, Barley Mumba, in their grips, and he was scoring left, right, and centre for them.
Yeah.
He's gone back there now on a permanent transfer, so the loan was that good for him. Come back to Norwich, was awarded young player of the season, and boom, he's a permanent Plymouth Argyle player, and I think he's going to carry on scoring goals in the Championship. Very nice guy, very great guy. You know just how much I support the youth players at Norwich. We go to a lot of the youth matches, the academy matches, whenever they're available to go and spectate, and they have a lot of youth prospects. They have a lot of potential. So, and we'll get on to talking about that later on in the video because Norwich have actually brought some of their youth players into the main fixture. But Plymouth, are they surviving? There's hopes there, but they're also one of those teams. Are they Championship ready?
Yeah, they're a bit of a yo-yo between League One and Championship, unfortunately. Very good side, but I don't think they'll make it this year.
No, I like to hope that they can, but I think it's just too early to tell. It's not a team that I'm too used to seeing.
However, Plymouth did win 3-1 on their opening fixture against Huddersfield.
Which is
So,
obviously a
good
very
start.
good result for them, so it's always a good start. Don't quite know who they've got this weekend because I haven't got the fixtures written down, but hopefully they can make it 6 points for their first
Definitely.
2 fixtures. Obviously we've spoke about Saints losing some key players. Do you think that's going to impact them?
I don't think it will, no.
No.
I think Southampton are still going to do very good in the league.
They're definitely bringing in players. We saw them win, obviously, on match day 1, and they've got Norwich coming up this weekend.
That would be a very good game.
I think it's going to be an insanely good game, and if Norwich turn up, I think it could be one of the games of the season.
5-goal thriller, you heard it here first.
5-goal thriller, there we go. What score are you going? 4-1? 4-1?
3-2. 3-2 either side.
I say it goes 2-2 half time, and there's 1 goal in the second half. And that really breaks it. But that's obviously, I believe that's at St Mary's. So Southampton have the advantage. Their fans are in good voice. It's a brand new season. It gives fans new hope when it's a new season.
Definitely.
I do hope Norwich turn up. I'm not going to even predict who's going to win it because I've already told a few Saints fans I think they're going to be one of the hardest teams to beat this season.
Definitely.
I think going into this prediction, while I've been talking about it on social media, a lot of the people who support Saints on my Twitter have been expecting me to put Saints a lot lower than I actually have, and they'll be shocked at how high I put them in the table in this year's predictions. But yeah, we've pretty much talked about everything there. So I believe you're hosting the quickfire round today.
Yeah, quickfire's on me today.
So obviously I hosted the quickfire in our Premier League video. If you haven't watched that already, go check it out, guys. Leave a like and comment on that one who you think's going to win or get relegated from the Premier League. But Aaron's turn to let the sun shine on him today. He's going to be hosting the questions. I've not seen these questions, so it's going to catch me out. We say quickfire. We probably will struggle to answer some of them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Quickfire as much as we can. Right.
Let's go. First question.
Quickfire round. Top goal scorer in the Championship this year?
Teller
Teller.
for Southampton. 100%.
Nice. Best defensive team? What strikers are going up against what team and saying, "Oh, I don't want to play that game today"?
Oh. I want to say Leicester. They've got the experience. They come down.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
But I do think they're going to have that defence that's going to be very hard to break down. They're going to be one of the lowest conceding goals this season.
Next up, we have which team is going to be the biggest flop of the year?
QPR.
QPR.
Yeah, I don't see them doing anything. They struggled last season, and I think they'll drop even further this season. There's so much competition coming into this season. I even think some of the teams what coming up from League One will really challenge QPR. So QPR on that one.
As a solid Championship fan, would you rather have your team win the FA Cup and stay in the Championship, or would you rather be a consistent mid-table Premier League team with more players, more money?
So you know what I think about this one because I talk about it so much. I absolutely love the Championship, but the fact of winning the FA Cup and then getting all those big achievements and even like Europe out of that, I want to say be a consistent Prem team because that's something Norwich thrive to be. Definitely. They really want to be it. As much as I'd love to stay in Championship, and you know how bad I always say I don't care about like the Prem. If in my lifetime I'd like to see Norwich have that stability come into them. So finance, the ground having renovations, which have already been talked about. But at the moment I don't think they're even anywhere close to even deserving any of that. So I'd like to see Norwich get up in the Prem.
Well, hopefully, new owners
Hopefully.
Could happen.
Delia, please, just leave. Don't leave. Don't leave. Just give Antanasio the keys to the club and let him do the wonderful things that he wants to do to the club, please.
Antanasio, Where are you? Come on.
Let's be having you.
In your opinion, which Championship side has the best kit this season?
Ooh. I haven't seen many of them.
On what you've seen, then, who do you think has the best kit?
Do you know what? If that was the Prem, I could answer it because I was looking at them this morning. But Championship-wise, it's going to hurt me to say this, but Ipswich. Yeah, I really think their kit's clean. But there's a big one what's growing on me, and that's Southampton's home kit. I really hated it when they revealed it, but watching them playing it the other day I think it's really nice. But yeah, definitely, I'd say Ipswich. And it hurts me saying that. I'm wearing a Norwich kit right now, but yeah, Ipswich have got one of the cleanest kits this season.
Whose attack is the scariest this season?
Norwich. No, definitely not Norwich. I think Norwich have they're moving the right people around the pitch, but it's hard because I think Coventry are going to be one of those underdogs. They did really well last season with their attack. I think they'll carry on to do really well. I'm trying not to say Southampton because Southampton have got a stunning team. They've got a really good team. I want to give a 50-50 answer on that. I want to say Southampton or maybe Coventry. I'm trying to think Middlesbrough, but I think Middlesbrough will be really high up the league, and they're one of my favourites, if not my favourite for the season. But I think that'll be coming down more their balance of football between everything. But yeah, we'll stick with that.
Right. And finally, where can everyone go for the best sugar-free energy drink on the market?
Well, funny you asked that because we've now got a message coming up on the screen from G Fuel. So we'll see you in a moment, guys.
G Fuel is a sugar-free performance energy drink that provides game-changing energy. All G Fuel products are sugar-free, including their carbonated energy cans, which I definitely recommend trying. No matter what you choose from G Fuel, you can rest easy knowing you will get that performance boost without the crash. Use code GeojackHD at checkout today to save on your order. And also remember to tag me across social media if you use code GeojackHD so that I can thank you personally for you showing your support. Visit gfuel.com today and change the way you get your energy. Well, guys, we're over here at the desk now where we're going to be bringing you our 2023-24 EFL Championship predictions. As you saw over on the sofa, we both agree it's going to be one of the hardest years to call.
Definitely.
Obviously, there's a few teams in the league that will be a lot harder to call because we don't know everything about every single team in the league.
No.
Especially ones what coming from League One, we don't follow as closely. But yeah, we're gonna get straight stuck into it today. We're not gonna gossip or run any tears across the floor. But let's start straight away. Relegation. Who have you got on relegation? So let's talk supercomputer because we go from supercomputer. We have our own predictions.
Yep.
Everything here. Who have you got going down like straight away?
For me, straight away, it's Rotherham, Sheffield Wednesday, and QPR.
So as earlier, when I said QPR are going to be the biggest flop of the season, you agree that they're going to go down.
Yep.
So you're saying that order, yeah?
Yeah.
So you know, funny because I would have said Plymouth are in there and not Rotherham, but if you look at last season on the table we've got on this screen, Rotherham 19th.
I think they could end up dead bottom.
Do you think?
I think they got a bad season this season. I think Plymouth might just survive in 21st.
So, like the message earlier, like the little chat we had earlier on the sofa, Plymouth survival hopes. You think that's possible?
Definitely.
Definitely. And I think we're fully agreed on that. They are going to be they're either going to be really bad or they're just going to clinch onto it. They're not going to. I don't think they're going to be amazing. I do think goal scorers from last season will help them a lot. That's not me as a Norwich fan bigging up Barley Mumba. I'm absolutely furious that he's left, but he wouldn't have fit into us. Not when we're wanting to be up the top end of the Championship again.
Yeah,
to how we were a few years ago. But yeah, moving up, more survival hopes.
Birmingham in 20th for me.
Really? Reasons, or you just think they're a comfortable Championship team?
I think they're too comfortable. They finished in 17th last season. Scored 47, conceded 58. They've lost a couple of their key performers, 2 on loan from Manchester United. Right back Ethan Laird and attacking wide player Teef Chung. 2 good players that helped them a lot. They've lost them. I think they could just be... They'll survive, but I think by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, they're that sort of team that you don't really know. As in, they don't belong in League One, so you couldn't see them going down to League One. They're definitely above that grade.
Mind you, we said that about Leicester.
We did. And now, yeah, exactly. More shocking seeing Leicester in the Championship.
Definitely.
Before they won the Prem, maybe, you could have been like, oh, yeah, they're going to be in the Championship next season.
They only just survived relegation that previous year.
Yeah, exactly. So they've downfalled a lot. I can't see them struggling, Leicester struggling in the Championship, but we'll see how we go when we're later on in this. My next call on this for survival was Cardiff.
That is exactly who I was thinking. Cardiff 19th.
Yeah, I think they'll move up slightly from last season, 21st. Obviously, if you look at this chart, they only scored 41 goals. They could see the 58. That's a minus 17 goal difference. It's not great.
No.
I used to see Cardiff as a Championship contender, like years ago. They were a really strong Championship side.
It was even in the Premier League for a good few years.
Exactly, and this is why I say it's the hardest thing, because you could be at the top of the table for years and then just drop all of a sudden.
Yeah,
and that's why this season it's really hard to call, because there's so much great talent in there. I don't think, arguably, there's 2 teams in this season that I fucking hate. But I think even looking at that table, I think there's only them 2 teams that I think both of those 2 teams I hate in this season are going to do really well. Unfortunately so. But we've got different agreements, so when it comes down to rivalries.
Definitely.
So moving up, who do you think is going to be in, is it 18th?
Preston.
Okay.
I think they're going to be my flop. And if you look at their last 5 games, as the Championship come to an end, it was loss, draw, loss.
Mm-hmm. Okay, moving up to mid-table. So these are the teams that are comfortably set in the Championship.
Yep.
I've got my prediction on there, but my predictions have, since that was during pre-season. So my predictions have changed a lot. We're just going to use that so we can see kind of a reference. But moving up. Yeah, I know. Let's go and move on to mid-table. So they're not in danger, but they're also not impressing. So let's go.
Stoke first off for me, I think.
You think Stoke are going to be our first mid-table team?
Definitely.
Yeah, I can't argue that. 24, 23, 22, 20, 21, 20, 19, 18. So 18th place for Stoke.
Yep.
Your paperwork, have they had any major outgoings or incomings at all that they may impress? So they haven't really, not key players anyway, not major players, major signings. Stoke, one of those teams that I've never really been able to judge. I think they're a good Championship side, but they're not a side that I'd be worried about going up against.
No, definitely not.
Not too much anyway. not debating the rest of the teams in this league this season. Uh,
And with 55 goals and 54 against, they score as many as they concede. So
yeah. Moving up, I think this is where we put Cardiff in.
yeah,
I think Cardiff fit in nicely mid-table. I don't think they're in danger of going down. It's an interesting one because we speak about their downfall from obviously having that stint in the Prem. But right now, just one of those things. I don't think they're good enough to impress more than mid-table. Definitely not top 10.
nope.
Definitely not top 10. Where have you got them on your predictions at the moment? You have them in...
15th on my prediction.
Oh, is that your prediction there?
Yeah.
This is last season, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so 15th, you have them in 15th, which would mean that you've got them going up from a whopping 21st last season to a 15th. You think they're going to impress more than they did last season?
They brought in Aaron Ramsey, very good
Yep.
midfielder, and Carlin Grant, who's a very good Championship attacker.
Definitely. So they may be two attacking-minded players that could help push Cardiff a little bit more. Hopefully they do, because I don't see them going down. That would be devastating if they went down to League One. You don't. That's another team. This is what I say. So you don't see that team struggling too bad, but you don't also see them impressing. Which brings us on to our next mid-table team. Hull. I was going to say Hull or West Brom. So we'll put them both in
definitely
as mid-table, and we'll bring up two very good attacking sort of inputs on them. Obviously, match day 1, Norwich beat them at home, Carrow Road. Very controversial ending. Manager had a few tears to cry because he didn't agree with the refereeing rules, the new rules of the added time for time wasted and everything.
Yeah.
Which obviously the EFL have brought in, and I believe the Prem, have they brought that in over on your side?
Yeah.
So obviously a lot of that was used at the weekend for match day 1. No managers really liked it apart from the winning sides. Hull City, they are a good team, but Norwich looked really, really impressive on the ball against them. Match day 1 of the season after an awful season as well looked really good. And I don't think Hull had that attacking mindset.
No.
There was a few decisions in that game that were really, really tough to call. And I don't think they were going to score another goal.
Definitely not, no.
They had that position, they had that possession on the ball, and they had the good teamwork. But regarding the predictions for the final day of the season, that's where I see them. I see them on that line. I don't see them going any higher than that.
Definitely, I agree, yeah.
So, West Brom? Any news on West Brom from your side? Have they brought in anyone? Have they sold anyone? Or where did you put them on your prediction?
10th.
You put them in 10th?
They're round about mid-table, half-ish.
Yeah.
But with no key ins and outs, I think mid-table is about right. Top half of mid-table.
Yeah, and once again, we've seen them progress and drop a few times.
Definitely.
They when I was younger, West Brom used to be a fairly competitive side to beat. Not so much anymore.
They did lose 2-1 to Blackburn on the opening day.
Definitely. Was that at home or away for West Brom?
Away.
So that was away, Blackburn. Obviously, this is where I say I'm arguing with myself. I'm looking at my early predictions before pre-season, and this is where I'm arguing with myself because Blackburn are a good team.
Yeah.
Obviously, Brereton Diaz, really good goal scorer. I'm not too sure if he's still there or not.
No.
So he's gone.
He has
Oh,
gone.
wow. Okay. Didn't realise that. So he used to be, when we used to have to come up against Blackburn, I was always like, Brereton Diaz is going to score.
Bradley Dack. He's gone.
Oh, damn. Wow. Blackburn, what have you done?
Yeah.
That is bad. That is really bad. Brereton Diaz and Dack going from the team. That's definitely going to drop them.
Definitely going to push them down the table.
I think they're our next team on the table just with those two departures. Obviously, they used to be a really good threat against teams like ourselves.
Another
I used to worry.
Premier League winner as well.
Exactly, and I used to worry when they used to come against us.
Yeah,
Breton Diaz, straight away, he'd be my main worry.
definitely. Very quick.
He's good on.
attacker.
He's so smart on the ball,
Definitely.
and he just smacks it past the goalkeeper whenever he wants. Really, so definitely a big hit for him leaving Blackburn. I think they'll struggle then unless they've got good enough replacements. But looking at your paperwork, it doesn't look so.
No.
It doesn't actually look like he's coming in. Not much I can say about that then. That's actually really shocked me. Next on the table, this is where
Probably Bristol.
I think Bristol.
But
Obviously,
between Blackburn and between West Brom and Hull, not quite as good as Blackburn and West Brom.
you think he's going to be there or here?
There, yeah.
You think he's going to be there? Okay. So obviously Bristol. What was their result just gone on match day 1? We had
match
them.
Day 1 was a 1-1 draw with Preston.
Preston. Oh. So okay, if they're not capable of beating Preston, who have put as survival hopes, arguably a relegation-worthy team, I think.
Yeah.
I think Preston could slip if they don't hit
Definitely.
survival. They're going to go down in that bottom 3. They're that sort of team who are constantly going to be up and down, or if not the bottom end of the table.
Definitely.
But if Bristol can't beat them on match day 1, the one day where you're going to want to impress and get the fans on your side once over again after months of not having any football, obviously it'll be interesting to see what we can talk about next week in the podcast after the match week 2, because obviously all the Carabao Cup fixtures have been played apart from Norwich QPR, and the winner of that match is going to be coming up against Bristol.
Definitely. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how Bristol play on match weekend 2. That'll give Norwich a big insight if we do win against QPR in the Carabao Cup. Obviously, the match between that Carabao Cup match was delayed because they had their pitch delayed, so they requested that it got played later at a later date. So it's very delayed, which means we also have to play 3 games in 1 week very early on in the season. It's going to be giving us a massive insight to see if there has been major and much needed improvements at the club.
Definitely.
So that is our mid-table right now.
Yeah.
Bristol only being able to get a 1-1 against Preston at home is slightly concerning. If you're a Bristol fan, you'd be I think you'd be concerned at that.
Definitely.
But especially at home, where you're going to have all the fans on your side, you're going to be in a relatively known ground. Have they brought anyone in? No, that's the thing. Bristol have not, not by the looks of it, or at least no major signings.
Yeah, no major.
They may have brought smaller signings in, but not worthy of what you've noted down. Top half. This is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets fun and messy.
Huddersfield, the first one.
Huddersfield straight away in there.
Last season finishing 18th, so top half is a big jump for them. But their last 3 results were all wins. If they can carry that momentum into the league, then they can be the lower end of top half. Although they did lose on opening day away 3-1 to Plymouth. New boys Plymouth, who some people are tipped for a lower finish.
Definitely, in my early predictions, I had them as relegation.
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of tipping towards, obviously, what we've agreed on, the survival hopes. But losing 3-1, did you say?
Yeah.
Wow.
Plymouth away.
Wow, okay.
But I think they will be just in top half.
Just. Yeah. I can see it being a good season for them.
Yeah.
I can't see it being absolutely awful or match day 1 is early days.
Definitely.
Obviously, we'll be back.
Everyone's still getting back into the routine and fitness of it all.
Exactly, and there's still transfer time. There's still
Definitely.
The window is still open. If they struggle for their first 2 or 3 matches, they can go and sign a new player. They could try and get someone new in or make some changes that might have not been done pre-season. There's plenty of time for it still. Where did they finish last season? Can you see on here? Huddersfield, 18th. Scoring 47, conceding 62. That's a minus 15 goal difference. Finishing on 53 points. But they were joint with Stoke and Birmingham. We've put Stoke and Birmingham obviously in survival / mid-table. Huddersfield top half. So
Huddersfield were the more recent of these teams to be in the Premier League as well.
exactly.
Factor that in.
And they've won trophies.
Yeah.
They've won trophies, especially under David Wagner. He come in and really helped tip them round.
Definitely.
And I hopefully we'll see the momentum stay at Huddersfield. They're not a horrible team.
No.
I can't hate Huddersfield.
No.
If you say, "Oh, I hate Huddersfield," you're like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
That's like saying you hate kittens.
But that does bring us on perfectly to the next top half. Millwall. You say you like Millwall, like hurting kittens.
It's like kicking a cat.
Yeah.
And we all know what happened the last time a footballer kicked a cat. But you know what? It's really, it makes me feel sick saying it. They've got a fucking good team.
Yeah.
But
so do
they're not going to
the
get
rest
up
of the
there.
teams. No.
They're not going to. And even their fans know everyone hates them because they sing it 90 minutes. It's the only fucking chant they know. They can shout their name in slow motion.
Yeah.
And they can shout, "No one likes us." If that's all your fans can sing to get behind, that's not even getting behind your team.
No.
Singing your name in slow mo just feels like you're yawning. And shouting "No one likes us" and "we don't care" is like, well, maybe cheer something about the players on your pitch. Like Norwich and at every single team in this league, they'll sing 90 minutes of playing like their players, like names about their players. Like, you've been to a lot of Norwich games now. All the chants are, when we've been playing properly, you've been to a lot of angry crowds in your time coming to Norwich matches with myself.
Yeah.
But you've also seen us with some bloody really good results, like against teams that we shouldn't be. Obviously, your most recent fixture you come to was against Millwall, and
good game.
I quote you. You said it was one of the best atmospheres you've ever seen at a football match, and for concrete stands to be shaking and vibrating, that was why I dragged you to that match. Like, proper tried. I wasted a lot of money on getting you to that match, and we were very lucky because we got our tickets and our seats changed.
Yeah.
So right near the away fans, that corner was absolutely like that was shaken.
Definitely.
Up on our feet for 90 minutes. But full consideration, Millwall, they're a good team. They're not going to struggle. They're going to be top half, 100%.
Definitely.
Anything less than top half's not acceptable in my eyes for them. But we'll move on. We won't stick to grudges for too long. This is where
it's getting tough.
I bring in Sunderland.
This is where we disagree.
I think it's anywhere from now that we disagree on. And it's because it's the hardest thing to call.
Definitely. Sunderland is coming up for me. Coming up pretty soon. But before Sunderland, I would put Ipswich. A League One team. They shouldn't have gone to the League One in the first place, but they were in the League One, so there's a League One team coming up. They're doing very well, scoring 101 goals. They're a very good attacking side, but I don't think they're going to get much more than top half being a League One team.
So you're talking about Ipswich?
Yeah.
And this is for 10th place?
Yeah. I don't think they're going to get better than that.
Don't actually disagree very much, because I have said, even in my early prediction, I stick to this. I don't know what order they're going to be in. This is like my hardest. As a Norwich fan, this is hard to predict, because I think no matter where they finish, Norwich, Millwall, and Ipswich will finish next to each other. And you disagree.
Yeah.
You disagree
I disagree.
Quite impressively. I hope they do as good as you've posted them to do so. But I do think that there's an argument a bit behind it, because obviously Norwich have struggled for so long now.
Yeah.
And we haven't been how we used to be. But if we talk, we'll bring on Norwich in a moment. We'll talk a bit about Norwich's incomings and outgoings, because I've got some notes on those. But 10th place, Ipswich Town, top 10 coming up from League One.
It's a good result, that.
I think I'm going to have to agree with you. And before I talk about Norwich, for the sake of the prediction, we're going to put 2 more teams in before we put Norwich, because I'm going to ask if we can keep Norwich in that top half, just missing out on playoffs, because I don't think they've got what it takes. But we will discuss that in a minute when I bring up the notes for our incomings, because I do think we've brought some nice incomings in. And we've saved quite a lot of money on those incomings with free transfers. And we've got Premier League experience coming in, which could help us get playoffs. Hopefully so. And my prediction isn't what I want to see. It's what I generally think we'll see. But yeah, 9th place.
8th and 9th for me straight away.
Swansea Watford.
And then, obviously, as you requested, Norwich just missing out on playoffs. At 7th.
Like that? Or do you want Swansea in that way around?
Swansea 9th, Watford.
That one.
Yeah, Watford are a slightly better team for me.
So, yeah. That top half row is beautiful on its own. That's where it gets really competitive. I think all those teams are worthy of being top half like that, just missing out on playoffs. It could be the opposite way round. Norwich could be where Huddersfield is.
Definitely.
But that's why I like the Championship. And
obviously, can't call it.
We are stressing. We are trying. We're going to try our best to get to a few games, whether they're home or away. We'll try to get to the Ipswich away game and then the Ipswich home, because that'll be. Am I right in saying that'd be your first ever away game?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Yeah. So what a way to start off with the return of the East Anglia Derby, the day before my birthday. Oh. So yeah, at Portman Road, that'll be interesting to see. That could be a party in a whole, or it could be the least impressive birthday of my life. But yeah, I think that top row is solid. Now we go for the playoffs. This is where I think these teams are going to juggle each other.
Yeah.
For the whole season, down to match day, like the final match day.
Only just getting in playoffs, me. After losing their key man, I think it's got to be Huddersfield. And this is where, for me, Norwich and Huddersfield will be swapping depending on season form.
So you think Huddersfield are missing out on playoffs? Because we've already got Huddersfield on there.
Sorry, not Huddersfield, Coventry.
Coventry.
I was going to say, yeah. Key man, me just being in there, and Coventry and Norwich ending on league form. It'd be one of them two.
So you think Coventry are going to impress again? Obviously, Coventry were last time 5th place.
Yeah, 6th this time.
You're saying they're getting
6th. Losing their key man, yeah. And could be 7th. See if they sign anyone to replace him.
Well, we'll go into that then. 5th place. This is where I would argue Sunderland to go in. We don't need to talk too much about that. They're a solid team. They're worthy of playoffs. They're worthy of winning playoffs.
Jude Bellingham's brother.
Good signing.
They signed Bradley Dack.
Oh wow! So they've took him from.
Rivals. Yeah.
That's really good.
And they brought in young goalkeeper Nathan Bishop.
What was their result? United. I believe they won theirs, didn't they?
Sunderland. Match day 1. No, they lost to Ipswich 2-1.
Ooh. Okay. They're a bigger club than. No. Thing is, I was going to state a very controversial statement then saying they're a bigger club than Ipswich. But both of those clubs have such a history. They have really great success. I don't even care if I'm a rival to Ipswich. I have to admit it. They have a fucking good history.
They do.
They have a really good history. And I think it's going to be very competitive against Ipswich and Norwich. But yeah, Sunderland are definitely going to impress. They're going to be playoffs. This next step in 5th place.
4th.
It is 4th, isn't it? Yeah. This really confuses me though, because these are the 4 teams that I've got in my early predictions, and I've also changed my mind about little bits of them. I think in 4th place, it's going to be Leeds.
Yeah, that's exactly who I was just thinking.
My early predictions, I had them in 2nd. I do think Daniel Farke, after struggling with Norwich, after struggling over in Bundesliga in Germany, I think coming back to English football, Leeds is a very big club to take the reins of.
Yeah.
Just as hard as it is for him, missed out on reuniting another Norwich player with him, Max Aarons. Yeah. Bournemouth coming in saying,
last
we're taking you. for a lower cost apparently as well. But with add-ons, it will equal about the same, I think.
Oh yeah.
Rumours obviously he's being signed for a 7 million fee. I think Leeds had a 12 million fee, but I think that might have included add-ons. By the time we get add-ons from Bournemouth, it is rumoured to say about 12 million. It was still fairly nice. Obviously, I've seen personal statements from people who are close to Max Aarons this morning, like who know him from like Norwich City podcasts, like Talk Norwich City, very popular podcast for Norwich. Very nice. They're very close with. Chris is very close with Max Aarons and his family. There was rumours speculating yesterday that he walked out of a medical at Leeds for Bournemouth. Those rumours have been since closed down. He didn't do that. I don't think he'd be anywhere. Max Aarons is the nicest guy alive. He's such a genuine guy. But yeah, I think the Premier League football has tickled him a little bit.
Definitely.
And I think Bournemouth's a good team. If he went to Leeds, he would be reunited not only with Daniel Farke, but with Sam Byram from Norwich City. So he's played with Sam a lot of the time, a lot of the season with Norwich. Obviously, he earlier went over to Leeds. And obviously, Daniel Farke tried getting some more people he knows who are promising. Obviously, last season, we had European giants wanting Max Aarons. We wanted some really good. Rio Ferdinand obviously got him into his program.
Yeah.
And he got the eyes of like Barcelona and other German teams and Spanish teams. And even the likes of Manchester United, there was talk about it. Rio Ferdinand saw a lot of potential in him. And sadly, it didn't happen. Maybe if he goes to Bournemouth now and has a really good season, is he going to go? We've already seen a lot of Bournemouth players grow in the ranks in there. Yeah. But yeah, that is definitely, I think, going to be that. It's going to be a tough season for Daniel Farke.
Definitely.
I think he'll impress. Coming back to English football after 2 very, very struggling seasons is going to be hard. He's not going to hit the road running straight away.
Leeds drew 2-2 with Cardiff at home on the opening day.
And we've put Cardiff much lower down the table.
Definitely.
So we'll see how it goes. But
and that was from 2-0 down as well. Come back from 2-0 down to 2-2.
Counterplay in action there. And not going to lie, all the best to Daniel Farke.
Definitely.
Leeds are a champion. They're a top-end Championship / Premier League team. They do deserve Premier League football. Daniel Farke, you know how much respect I have for him. Wasn't given enough support, in my opinion, at Norwich. He was loved. He was really loved at Norwich.
Loved by the fans.
The fans loved him. The matches you come to, you started coming to Norwich matches when Daniel Farke was manager.
Yeah.
So you started joining me at matches there, and the support they had from day one of him was incredible. Obviously, that was when we saw Todd Cantwell fall down. Yeah. That's when we saw Christos Tsolis dropped, which felt, in my opinion, and I share that same opinion with a lot of fans, that felt really inappropriate. The drop of support he had after that missing that one penalty.
Yeah. I
don't think he was planned to take that penalty.
No.
And he missed it. And we pretty much never saw him in the lineup ever again. He's had a few loan spells. He has gone out on loan. We'll get the notes up just to talk about this quickly. Get these up on here. So if we bring this up, we've got obviously Zolas going out to Dusseldorf on a loan deal. He's come back from a club, I think it was Club Bruges. He was in one of the Dutch teams in Europe. It didn't do very well. He come back. It looked like he was staying, and then it's clear that he was not in the plans for David Wagner. But if you look at those departures for Norwich, got Barley Mumba going back to Plymouth after getting Young Player of the Season. Really good. He scored against Ipswich in both their fixtures last season in League One, which may have gave Plymouth why they got the top end of the table over Ipswich. Kieran Dow joining Todd Cantwell at Rangers. Yeah. Good player. Did some really good football, but obviously Rangers is a big move for him. Timu Pukki, no more Pukki party in Carrow Road or Norwich.
Solid fan favourite. Definitely
a big fan favourite. And gone over to the MLS with Minnesota. Big move. It's a weird move, but MLS was good for him. That's right for him, I think.
Yeah.
And he'll be coming up against Lionel Messi.
Definitely.
Which is it's crazy how we can now say Timu Pukki plays in the same league as Lionel Messi, which is crazy. Sam Bryan, we've already said Leeds. Good move for him.
Yeah.
Daniel Farke knows what he can do. Daniel Sinani got some play time last season. Obviously not great. He's now gone to St. Pauli over in Europe. Michael McGovern, our third choice goalkeeper, he's gone up to the Heart of Midlothian, so Hearts up in Scotland. He'd been at Norwich for a very, very long time, so it was very emotional seeing him leave. He weren't ever going to get the time. He was our third choice goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Obviously, even if him crawled apart, he would have still been our second, or even pushed out to our third, still with a new signing. Zolas, we've spoke about, obviously Dusseldorf. Abu Kamara going on loan to Portsmouth. Just been signed a season. He's just signed a senior contract at Norwich from the under 21s, and put straight on loan to Portsmouth. I think it'll be a good loan for him. Let him get some more play time while the squad at Norwich is very competitive. Josh Martin released, no club for him. That brings us to a 1.5 million earn with a market value of 12. So we have lost a lot of money on that.
Yeah.
But at the time, Milo Rashica, great guy when he signed. Really had good hopes. Obviously
Solid
went away, and it does obviously unfortunately look like he'll be going. And in the last 24 hours, Max Aarons, hijacked by Bournemouth. Both Leeds and Southampton had put bids in for him. They had matched the bids. So he had choices, but he's gone for Bournemouth. I think the Premier League football has tickled him a little bit.
Yeah.
Respect to him. GG's to him.
Definitely, yeah.
Obviously features in England's young squad. And I think he could be a player. Exactly. They're trophy holders. Yeah. I think he could be in the future England squad.
Definitely.
I think he's a great guy. Now he's going to be playing Premier League football. They're going to keep watching him. But replacing Timi Pukki, we've got someone of his same nationality.
Yeah.
Christian Fasnat. We got him for 3 million. He's right mid, plays attack and football, 29 years old, coming up to the 30, but he's got the experience from young boys. Former David Wagner prospect. He's played under him, which I think would have motivated him for signing.
Yeah, definitely.
He's a good guy. We've seen him score already in pre-season, and he impressed on match day 1 against Hull. Kellen Fisher from national side Bromley. He's impressed. Obviously, national side, you might have not seen or heard about him. Very impressive on the ball. He's got a very big future, and I hope I hope he has a really good season for the sake of being a future star at Norwich.
Yeah.
120k, that's nothing.
That's
really good for a 19-year-old from a National League side. Really good. Yeah. Boya Sainz coming on a free transfer left wing. Obviously, where Rashica or Cantwell or Placheta or someone would have played. He's come in pre-season and now he's injured. He's out until October. He'll be back. He'll be back in time for our Christmas period. So busy period, busiest part of the season. There was a lot of hypes. Young 22-year-old Spanish player from Trabzonspor. That's obviously a Turkish side. There was a lot of hype about him signing. Plays 1 game in pre-season, gets injured, and he's out until October. Massive hit. That brings us on to Shane Duffy. Obviously, we've brought in a few defensive players. Shane Duffy and Jack Stacey. Jack Stacey was right back, replacing Max Aarons in his position. Against Hull the other day, he was stunning. Really, really solid defensive mind player. Obviously from Bournemouth. So this is where it gets interesting. We've gave Bournemouth. The Bournemouth have bought Max Aarons to replace Jack Stacey, and we've got Jack Stacey to replace Max Aarons. They've basically done a swap.
Yeah.
And we got Jack Stacey on a free transfer. I'll give that. And we're going to be getting money from Max Aarons.
Yeah.
So kind of we're in a winning situation with that, in my opinion. Ashley Barnes, on the other hand, 33 years old, from Burnley, got Prem experience.
Yeah,
old.
Good.
He's an older player, but he can bring in that experience for Norwich, who they need up front. We've already seen him link up with, obviously, Jonathan Rowe. The other day, we saw him score that absolute belter from outside the box in his first ever Norwich City Senior squad start. So good things going, and you know just how much of a super fan I am for Jonathan Rowe.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. We've watched him in the academy team. We've watched him come up, and he's just incredible. Such a good guy. unfortunately missed last season due to a serious injury, but he's went from being a little tiny skinny kid coming back, built up muscle. Like he's clearly worked on himself while he's been training. So he's worked on it to earn his spot in this squad, and I think it's going to be really good. We'll move on to some things later on about that, but we're going to talk about the top 3. Arguably the hardest part of the season.
Middlesbrough, third for me, just missing out on automatics.
You think?
I don't think they can compete with the likes of Leicester and Southampton, 2 Premier League teams.
This is where I'm a bit, because I think Leicester's downfall, we've seen it gradually decrease over the last year or two. The last 2 years, they've gone from being Championship side, a Premier League winning team, to a struggling team, to a relegated team. I think they'll bounce back up, or I think they'll get playoffs. This is where me and you disagree, because I was going to put Middlesbrough second, because they were very good last season.
Supercomputer has Middlesbrough first,
which is crazy. That's crazy considering they finished in 4th last season. For the sake of this, we'll keep them in 3rd. If they're if Middlesbrough are going into playoffs, they're winning the playoffs.
Oh,
if they're
100%.
coming up against Leeds, Sunderland, or Coventry. So I can see Middlesbrough being a prem side. It feels like we're back in when we were kids. Looking at this table, because these teams are teams what we saw in the Prem like when we were kids. But yeah, Middlesbrough 3rd place, potential playoff favourites, which moves to 2nd. I think we can't even argue on this. Leicester 2nd.
Yeah,
I think Leicester
champion Southampton
and winning the. Looks like Harris is going to love me for saying this, but 2023-24 champions, Southampton. Considering who they've lost.
Harris, I already had it.
He had it already. So Harris is going to love this. He's going to skip to the end of this video straight away and see who we've put in first. He doesn't know this. I've told him that I've put him fairly high. And this is, I will let you know, Paris, if you're watching this, or anyone watching this, this is a big reshuffle from my early predictions. My early prediction previously was Southampton in 4th. So...
And Bristol in 6th. How we now have near the bottom.
The thing is, with the Championship, watching pre-season, keeping up with their transfer news, how their players are playing, and match day 1, how they performed, it changes a lot, doesn't it?
It does,
and this will probably change every week.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be coming back every single Monday. It won't be uploaded on Mondays. I'll probably get it edited and uploaded for a Tuesday or a Wednesday, so it's like a midweek podcast. Yeah. It's just going to be like an hour of me and Aaron sitting over on the sofa, doing little things like quick fire questions, talking about results, talking about fixtures.
Anything football.
Anything football. Week. It's going to be Championship. It's going to be Prem.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about all football. And obviously, we've got a big talking thing coming up. We will tease it now. Obviously, our first podcast, a big talking point is Harry Kane to Bayern Munich.
Big move.
Shock. Very shocked. But well done to you guys who voted on the poll on Twitter. I think it was something like 76% of them voted. It was either Man U, Bayern Munich, or other. Bayern Munich was by far favourite in that vote. So
I thought he'd stay in the league to break that record.
I thought he was going to go Man U. He didn't travel in their last 2 pre-season matches.
No.
Which was surprising. And that's when we really thought he's at another club. He's gone. Seeing him wear a Bayern Munich kit is going to be weird. And I think that will now affect Tottenham Hotspur in our earlier prediction for the Prem. So we'll see what that is. We'll leave it there, guys. Let us know what you think of our prediction. Obviously, it's just a prediction. It's only match day 1. So at the time of recording this, they've only played 1 fixture.
Yeah.
And this isn't even going off their results as much. This will change. 100%. It's probably not going to look anything like this, but it'll be interesting to come back in a year's time.
We could even do
10 months' time.
In December, we could do a video.
Mid-season.
We could do a mid-season looking at where we predicted the Premier League and Championship and seeing
that's
what they
actually a
currently
really
are.
good idea. So if you guys want to see that, let us know in the comments. But as always, thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next week with our first Who Lads FC podcast, where we'll be talking all things football. Feel free to tweet me. I'm going to put a tweet out after I've finished up, when this video is uploaded, asking you guys questions and opinions on the league. And it doesn't have to be anything. It could be transfer news, it could be Premier League, it could be EFL, it could be Bundesliga or Spanish League, it could be MLS, anything. It could be whatever you want, anything football, even if it's a league like the Aussie League or an Asian league or the Turkish league. Ask us anything you want, guys, because I'm very respectful knowing that I've got football fans in my following from anywhere around the world. I've got fans who are in Dubai, I've got Spanish fans, I've got French fans, I've got German fans, I've got English fans, Americans. So let us know what you think, guys, what you want us to talk about in the podcast coming up. And we'll see you next week for our match day 2 reactions and
Premier
more.
League match day 1.
And so, the start of the Premier League this weekend. So it'll be a very, I think it's going to be a really good podcast, a really good chat. That's going to be getting recorded every single Monday evening. So we're going to get the match days out of the way. We have 24 hours to note down things, what we've noticed. And we'll bring in that to your screens, guys, from next week. So massive thank you, as always. Smash that like button. Hit subscribe if you want to see more football content and gaming, obviously. But yeah, I've been Joe Jack HD. He's been Aaron. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.
Peace.